This video covers Objective 1 for Section 8.1 Graphs of Equations. Graph an equation using the point plotting method. To graph an equation like y equals x minus 4 squared minus 9, we need to plug in some x values and find their corresponding y values. With this problem, a good number to start with is going to be the number that makes this expression in the inside of the parentheses 0, and that would be x equal to 4. It gives me 4 minus 4 squared minus 9, which is 0 squared minus 9, which is negative 9. So we're looking at the point 4, negative 9. Plugging in the number 3, that's 3 minus 4. Which is negative 1 squared minus 9, or 1 minus 9, which is negative 8. Plugging in 2 minus 4 is negative 2 squared minus 9, and that's negative 5. Plugging in 1 minus 4 is negative 3, which is 9 minus 9, which is 0. And plugging in 0 minus 4 is negative 4 squared is 7, 0, 7. One thing you have to remember is every time you graph something that has a y and an x squared in it, the graph is going to be a U-shaped graph called a parabola. We've located the left side of the parabola, and the right side of it is when we plug in 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. Squared is 1 minus 9 is negative 8. We're going to start repeating the pattern on this side. Plugging in 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. It's 4 minus 9, which is negative 5. So we're at 6, negative 5 now, where we were at 2, negative 5. Plugging in 7. 7 minus 4 is 3. Nine minus 9 is 0. 7, 0. And on the other side is the 1, 0. And plugging in 8, we have 8 minus 4 is 4. Squared is 16, minus 9 is 7. And connecting those dots, we see our parabola formed. Example 2, same sort of graph because the x is to the first power and the y is to the second. This will also be a parabola. This time, however, we will plug in numbers for y and get the x's out of them. And remembering that in the end, we're going to make our ordered pairs as x comma y. If we plug in x equal to 0, then we have, sorry, y equal to 0, then we have 0 squared plus 4, which is 0 plus 4, which is 4. If we plug in 1, then we have 1 squared is 1 plus 4 is 5. Two squared plus 4 is 4 plus 4, which is 8. So we're at 0, 4, 1, 5, 2, 8, and I did the mistake that of writing the ordered pairs as x comma y. 4, 0, 5, 1, and 8, 2. Four, 0, 5, 1, and 8, 2. If we plug in 3, 3 squared is 9 plus 4, which is 13. And so the x equals 13, y equals 3 is just a little bit off of our graph paper. So we can't keep plugging in bigger than that for y. So we have to go back and plug in -1 for y. And x will be -1 squared plus 4, which is 1 plus 4, which is 5. 5, -1. And -2 for y. X is -2 squared plus 4, which is 4 plus 4, which is 8. 8, -2. And we're starting to see our parabola shape up. Plugging in -3, we've got -3 squared is 9. Plus 4 is 13. And so we have 13, -3. So this is a parabola that opens sideways. The first one was a parabola that went up and down because the x was squared, and here the y is squared, so it goes to the right. And this leads us to a practice problem for you to try. This is a different kind of an equation because of the absolute values. But again, start with x equal to 5 as your starting point. And do numbers to the left and to the right of that. This is a practice problem for you to try, so I urge you to press pause on your video and work this out to the best of your ability and come back and press play when you want to see the solution. Now that you've had a chance to work this out, I'll work this out with you. For x equal to 5, we have 5 minus 5 in absolute value minus 6, and that's the absolute value of 0. 0 take away 6 is negative 6. When I use 6, the absolute value of 6 minus 5 minus 6, that's the absolute value of 1 minus 6. The absolute value of 1 is 1. Take away 6 is negative 5. Five, negative 6. 6, negative 5. When we put 7 in there, 7 minus 5 is 2. The absolute value of 2 is 2 minus 6 is negative 4. 7, negative 4. When we plug in 8, that's the absolute value of 8 minus 5, which is the absolute value of 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. So we're starting to see this pattern that they keep going over 1 and up 1 from here on out. And that is always what happens when you graph absolute values. On the other side at 4, we have 4 minus 5 minus 6. The absolute value of 4 minus 5, that's negative 1 in absolute value. And the absolute value of negative 1 is a positive 1. Take away 6 is negative 5. So we're going to go up on the other side. And 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Absolute value of negative 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 4. And we see the same thing happen on the left side. It's going to go up 1 and left 1. When we plug in 2, it's the absolute value of 2 minus 5 minus 6, or the absolute value of negative 3. 3 take away 6 is negative 3, so I have 2, negative 3. The graphs of the absolute values are all going to look like these V's, and that's what we have now. So we connect these dots with a straight line. And that's what the graph of the absolute value of x minus 5 minus 6 looks like. This concludes the video for Objective 1, graph an equation using the point plotting method for Section 8.1, Graphs of Equations.